mental health has increased or decreased?
It's a good question. I think the conversation about mental health has increased. So I think people are more willing now to talk more publicly about struggling with their mental health issues or seeking help. Because if people are not feeling well or feeling there's something wrong and don't reach out because of, they don't know where to go or they feel there's a stigma associated with mental health, then they're not going to get the right support at the right time.
So at what stage, if I'm feeling down, I don't think I've ever suffered mental illness, how do I know when to make that call?
Yeah, I think it is an individual thing. So if people think that things are going on for longer than normal, then it's a good time to put up your hand. There's no shame in doing that. In fact, we'd encourage people to reach out sooner rather than later because you can get connected to the right supports that you need and the right information. There are services out there that people can go and talk to, including their GPs, about, is this something I need to talk to somebody else about?
What do I do though? If I ask someone if they're not okay and they're open enough to tell me the truth and say no, I don't really know what to do.
Well, I think the best advice is to be their friends, to stay connected, not to run away. Because if someone's said, I'm struggling, I've got a mental health issue, at that very moment, they've disclosed something really important. And our reaction at that point in time is significant. We either build on the person's feeling of stigma, which might mean that they don't then talk about it again, that they don't go and seek support, or it can be a supportive conversation where we say, well, let's work out what to do now.
What about the stigma around mental health? Do you think that's changed over the years?
People are talking much more about depression and anxiety now, and that's a credit to everybody in the country, I think. And we see lots of people coming out, we've got politicians come out talking about depression, and that's really important. It's a good example of people saying, I want to come out and show other people that, you can live successfully with a mental health issue, and you can. It's important for everyone to know that people with mental health issues are just like anybody else. If there's 1 in 5 people in our lifetime that will experience a mental health issue, it's someone we know. It's a family member, it's a partner, it's a child.
Well, how important is empathy to people suffering?
Oh, it's really important. I think it's the key. That's how we connect with people we don't know. It is about trying to walk in that person's shoes, trying to think about what's it like for that person. I don't know what people's backstories are. I don't know what's happened in their life or what's happening right now. And often it's sitting down and talking to somebody where they can say, well, actually, yeah, I'm having a tough time at home. Or someone who was very close to me has died and I'm struggling with that whole issue. Empathy creates space for conversation, and that then leads to a better understanding and support, which is, I think, is the fundamental to helping everybody with a mental health issue, and workplaces and communities more generally become better places.
How do you change the attitude of that old school approach in toughen up? You're just sooking, you're just whinging, get on with it. We all have tough days. How do you help educate those people?
I think the conversations that are occurring now, so conversations from well-known Australians, whether that's in sport or the theatre or politics, coming out and saying, here's my experience of mental health, that I've struggled but I've got the right support, and things are better for me because of that. I think that starts to change some of the conversation. The important thing is we move beyond that and people feel more confident in having the conversation and knowing that there are resources and places they can go to themselves or their work colleagues and suggest where help's available.
I know you got a story around that teacup. Tell me more about that, please.
Yeah, so it's from someone who works here. Probably 18 months ago, I think. They left it on my desk with a note, and I said, oh, that's lovely. It's lovely someone's brought me a teacup. And I ran into them and said, oh, so they said, did you get the teacup? And I said, yeah, sure. And I said, oh, it's lovely, but why? Nice to get a gift. But they said, oh, a little while ago I was having a really hard day. And you actually walked past and asked me if I wanted a cup of tea. And she said, I wanted to give you this teacup to thank you because that made all the difference. I didn't know what was going on at the time, but it was the support. The person really appreciated it at that moment.
It's a very good lesson for all of us. Fantastic. Well, thanks, Mark, for your time.
Pleasure.
Really appreciate it.
Thanks, Mark.
Thanks, Mark.